Okay, the next in our progression here with perspective drawing, this is an all new thing. It's going to have elements of both single point and 2-point in it, but this is what we're going to call 3-point perspective. And this is a lot of fun. You can get a lot of illusion here. Horizon line in here, and you're going to have a vanishing point on either side. But then also, in this particular one, we're going to have a vanishing point near the bottom here. And this is for vertical lines, where these are for horizontal lines. So, for example, if we wanted to start, I'm going to start right here, and I'm just going to make a small line. Now, think of this as like the center of the earth. If we're going to draw like a tall building, like a skyscraper, that's the typical drawing that we would make here. We want that first line, you know, if we're making a box, okay, just like before, like in 2-point perspective, where you start with that first line. Before, the rules were in 2-point perspective that this line needed to be parallel with the edge of the paper. And in 3-point, this vertical line lines up with this vanishing point. And horizontal lines go to vanishing point, like this. So, like this, and like this. This would be like the top of the building. So this is what's called, I forgot to say, this is what's called bird's eye view. That's a W. And it's like a helicopter floating above the building here. I like to look at how wide I want the top of the building and not the bottom, because if you say I want the bottom to be this wide, the top can get really pretty crazy. The closer you get to this line between vanishing points, the more skewed it becomes. So I'm going to say I want it to be this wide. I'm going to make a mark there, and I'm going to make a mark here. Again, vertical lines are going to this vanishing point, and then from here I can make my vanishing lines going this direction, and now I have like a building that's like coming up into the sky. You can give it a neighbor. Those are always fun, neighbors. And you can just think ahead. I only want this building to be so big, so I'm not going to make my vanishing lines super long. An important one to remember is this one down here. This is the bottom of the box. It just happens to be going behind, and then I can make it a little more convincing by putting the back end in until I reach there. Then you got a neighbor. All right. Lots of different things that can be done just to give you some idea. Say you wanted to put a pyramid on the top of this, all you have to do is find the middle of this shape. And then from here, lined up with your vertical vanishing point, bring this up here, and then from here, just connect the corners. Like that. Super cool. All right. The next form of 3-point perspective that we're going to do is worm's eye view. And worm's eye view is a little different than bird's eye in that the horizon line is near the bottom and the vanishing point is up here in the sky, the third vanishing point. The other two are here. But what we're doing here is that center line, that first line that we talked about, starts here, but then it goes below the horizon line. Think of it like you're standing next to a giant building, and you can't get below the building because it sits at ground level. But anyway, this line goes here, this line goes here, so it's as if these boxes are on the horizon line. And we have these lines here. And then these lines determine the sides of these buildings. Again, vertical lines, the rule now is that they go here. And we can see, we can't obviously see the top of the building because we're below it. And we can't see under it because it's sitting on the ground. And then again, some neighbors. Neighbors are always fun, or at least sometimes. They go this way. They go this way. Don't forget about this one. And because buildings aren't clear, you would then erase these. I've already got ahead of myself because I need to put another line here, but we'll deal with that. Totally forgot. As I go around town, I can see logos of places that deal with perspective. It looks very similar to this. It's very basic, but it's very eye-catching. And you can do all sorts of things with these as far as cutouts and add-ons and whatever else. And you know, different things. You don't have to make things, you know, possibilities. You can make impossibilities. You know, kind of like a visual puzzle, if you will. It can still be perspectively sound, but not actually take place. Anyway, you can do cutouts if you wanted to make like a door on the corner of this thing. You know, you could say here's a door. Oops. And then I could say, here we go. There's that. There's that. And then take this line out. But I don't want you to copy this. I want you to find your own creative way of manipulating these things. You could do like the typical example that I do. I won't do it, but I'll just mention it. You could put an ellipse up here and put a clock on it. That could be cool. You could put a revolving door in here. You could put an ellipse in here and an ellipse in here and connect the two and make a you can put helicopter pads. You can actually make a helicopter flying in the sky, but you know, there are so many things that you can do with perspective at this point, and it is so much fun to be able to make these things, and all your friends sit there and go, holy smokes, how'd you do that? And you're like, well, with a ruler. You know, it's pretty neat to be able to practice this. You could do stairs similar to this, like we've seen, going and doing different things. Some people I have will say, hey, you need to have let's have a sphere. And spheres are a sphere in any particular direction, and so they don't work in perspective. And so that's not necessarily an element in perspective that you need to draw. But anyway, this perspective in 3-point, and be creative. That's probably the biggest thing I can tell you. So good luck and have fun.